Hello, good evening everyone. Now it's time to another lesson, right? Let's go. In this lesson, we will study about, we intend to study about the present perfect continuous, right? In the previous lessons, I have given one example yet, but it's not enough. I have to give an explanation of the present perfect continuous. The structure is very easy, but most importantly, everyone must be able to understand the context in which we use certain verb tenses. So it's no big deal, it's easy. Just pay attention to the examples I'm going to give you, okay? Let's go, shall we? Okay, so that's it. The present perfect continuous, what is this verb tense? You remember that the present perfect tense is the verb to have plus, I guess I'm going to turn off the ventilation fan, just a moment. Yes, I had to tone it down because it was very windy here and it was bothering me. You put the have, the verb to have, plus the main verb in the past participle, right? This is the present perfect, the main structure that we have studied so far. Now we will see the present perfect continuous, which is have or has plus been plus the main verb followed by ing. Ing, you remember that you have studied ing before, and it was in the simple in the present continuous and the past continuous. Just a quick review, what is the present continuous? For example, he is studying now. Okay, it's an action that is happening at the moment of speaking. Not necessarily, but in general, we may say so. There are other situations as well, but you may able to see in details looking back at previous videos on present continuous. The continuous tense, what I want to emphasize, the continuous tense is mainly involves the main verb followed by ing, right? The present continuous has this configuration, right? This structure, and the past continuous as well. For example, she was sleeping when I arrived. Remember this structure. You have two actions in the past. The action which is continuous happens first, and then you have a second action in the simple past, right? And in the past continuous, you use the main verb followed by ing. But most importantly, the continuous tenses, regardless of whether if it is in the present or past, is the verb to be plus the main verb with ing. Why I reviewed, what's the reason I'm reviewing this with you? Because the verb to be is also here in the present perfect continuous. Present perfect continuous. As you may be able to see here, you have the verb have or has, right? Plus been. What is been? Let's remember the verb to be in the infinitive form. Was, were is the simple past of the verb to be. In which situations we use was? I was, he was, she was, it was. The other pronouns we use were, such as you, we, and they, right? Okay, so we use the verb to be. The simple past is was or were, and the past participle is been. Been, right? B-E-E-N, right? I had to spell because my letter, maybe you you are reading lean. No, it's not lean, it's been, right? So been is the past participle of the verb to be. So you understand what is the structure: has, have or has, plus been, plus the main verb with ing. Now let's see some examples and understand when we use such verb tense, in which situations. It's a continuous tense, right? So you may understand that that's an action that runs throughout the timeline. But most importantly, it's an action that started in the past and has stopped just until recently. We have now, the moment now, and the action started happening and has just stopped or stopped just some moments before now. Let's understand. For example, the ground is wet. Okay, I believe I have given this example before to you, in which you have just woken up, you open your window and you see the ground wet. So what does it mean? It means that it was raining, right? It was raining at some time. So if the ground is wet, it means that it has been raining. It was a continuous action that happens throughout the time until recently. Now you open the window and see the ground wet, right? So it was raining in the past, it stopped raining, and now you see the ground wet. So in such situations, you use the present perfect continuous. Let's see another example. I am exhausted today. It's not just an example, right? It's a reality. As a matter of fact, I am exhausted today. Why? What's the reason you are exhausted? So I am exhausted today, and someone asks you, why are you exhausted? What happened? And you say, I have been working hard today. I have been working hard today. Right? So the result of being working hard today is that I am exhausted. So let's see it in the timeline. You started working, for example, at 9 a.m. You work throughout the day. You stop working at, let's suppose, 6 p.m., right? Or 6 p.m., it's the same thing. You work throughout the day. Of course, you have a break to have lunch. It's important, lunchtime, because everyone gets hungry and needs to needs to recharge his energies. And so you work during the day, and in the end of the day, let's suppose now it's 7 p.m. Now I say, oh, I have been working hard today, and now I'm exhausted. See what I mean? So it's very easy to understand this context. So just reviewing, the present perfect tense is used when an action starts in the past, goes throughout some time, and it stops just before now or sometime before now happens. Okay, now let's see another situation in which we use the present perfect continuous tense. People ask, let's suppose people ask you, how long have you been learning English? How long have you been learning English? How long is a question term, which means when you want to ask the duration, the time that you do something. So how long have you been learning English? In my case, I have been learning English since I was a child, okay? Or you can say, I have been studying or learning English since I was a child. So I have been studying English since I was a child. How long is a question, expression, have the pronoun, the verb to be in the past participle, and then you have the main verb followed by ing. So this is the present perfect continuous, and you use such expression when you want to emphasize, you want to know how long something has been happening, the duration of time, and most importantly, in answers, you generally use expressions such as since and for. I have been studying since I was a child. I have been studying for 10 years, for example. Since marks it's the milestone in which you start something. Okay, so what was the beginning of this action, and the for shows the interval or the duration something has been done, right? Okay, so that's it. We use the present perfect continuous in such situations because the action is still happening. I study English, okay? I still study English even after all this time, ever since I was a child. I haven't stopped studying English. So the action is happening, or the action was happening, has just stopped, and then you say something about now. For example, the ground is wet, I am exhausted. So this is now. And then you say what was happening before now. It has been raining, I have been working hard, okay? All right, another situation in which we use the present continuous, when you have repeated actions, you have repeated actions over time. So let's understand the context. For example, I am a very talented video game player. Yes, and I'm very modest as well. I am a very talented video game player. So what leads someone to believe that I am a very talented video game player? So I say, I have been playing video games since 1980, let me remember, 1988, right? It's my case. I have been playing video games since 1988. It was my first video game I got. It was an Atari, right? And ever since, I have played video games all my entire life, okay? Video games are a part of my life, and it helps you with English, it helps you with logical reasoning, it helps you to understand certain aspects of life, and it's fun. You have fun with video games as well. So you learn and you have fun as well. Okay, so this example emphasizes that I do something very for a long time, and it's a repeated action. Since 1988, I have played video games many times, all the time until now. Okay, so that's the context. Well, in the next video, we will study more about this verb tense. I hope you had a wonderful time studying with me, and in the next video, we'll see more examples and even comparisons with other verb tenses, right? Bye bye, have a nice time.